In last session, we introduced the skill development and walked through end-to-end example of the Node.js jokeskill. And in this session, we will implement the same jokeskill in another language. It's called NodeRed. NodeRed is invented by IBM and now is open source. Middleware development tool is a programming language based on Node.js, and we will see how convenient it brings to us and what kind of benefit it brings to us. And if this diagram is identical from the last session. The only difference is here we put the NodeRed here, which means the jokeskill is going to be written by NodeRed. And the same steps, and also in the step 3 when we testing, we will use the built-in Wars admin console, which simplify the process, and because NodeRed can bring the very nice debug window for us for the objects. Okay, now let's follow the step by step. First of all, we need to deploy the NodeRed skill in the IBM Cloud. And I do have a window open now, and this window is recommended when we develop directly using the IBM Cloud. This is called a incognito window, which is the private mode. So when you log into the IBM Cloud, we recommend to do this. You will avoid the confusing between the sessions. Okay, so now I have two windows open. One is the IBM Cloud, and one is Watson Assistant Solutions. And let's start. Okay, and also I already have the application created, the FMA IoT 10, and also I have the Watson Assistant service created. So if you do not have these two, and you can just directly create a NodeRed application and also a Watson Assistant service. Okay, so now I just go to the application, click the URL, and access to the flow. Now, based on the steps, we are going to downloading the JSON, and we just copy it, Control-C of the JSON, and input to the NodeRed. Control-I, Control-V, input. Okay, we got the new flow here. So this flow is the skills we developed. So one advantage, obviously, this is much easier to read. You can read from the left to right. Left is HTTP input and HTTP response. So we have the evaluate service, we have the convert service, and we have a series of the other service for the skills registration. So when we want to make this running, so the only one thing we need to configure is configure the WA workspace. WA is what's an assistant workspace. So we need to make sure to configure it properly so that we can use the Watson Assistant. Okay, so now if we go back to the dashboard, and open the Watson Assistant. We can input the WCS JSON file. We click the input. Okay, and we need to choose a file. The file link is here, the second one. So I already downloaded, so I'm directly WCS JSON import. Okay, so it says jokes imported successfully, and we can take a look. In the jokes have the three intents. Have a Termier joke, and dad joke, and a Chuck Norris joke. There is no entities, and I have a very simple dialogue to ask, what kind of joke you want to choose. So this is a very simple dialogue. Let's configure the flow to make the connections. To configure the flow is pretty straightforward. We just need to put the username, and a password, and a workspace ID. Joke, and I click the details, get the workspace ID, copy, okay, done. Okay, so it's already, now we can just directly click deploy. Now the skier is deployed. The question is how can we test it? Now we go back to our cheat sheet. That step 2 is identical as the last session. We need to register the skier to the to the Watson Assistant solutions, using the Swagger. So now we go back to the browser and go to the Swagger APIs, Conversation API. Okay, so first of all, we need to add a skier. Right? So we can try it out. To add a skier, only 2 lines is needed: the URL and name. So name, we just give a name is joke skier, and for the URL, we can get from the NodeRed. All right, execute. Okay, it's successful, and we can verify from the admin window. Go to skier, refresh. Okay, we already have joke skier. Now we need to put joke skier in our skier set. Okay, we already have a skier set. It's called MAR01 set. So what we need to do is put the joke skier there. Now we go to the Swagger. Add the skiers to the skier set. Try. Skier set is FMR01 set. And skier name is joke skier. Execute. Okay, successful. Now we go back to take a look. Joke skier is here. Okay. Yeah, it's come out, come here. After register, and we can take a look. Tell me a joke. Okay. Yeah, sure, it works. So to verify it works, we typically use the debug. So all these blue box are the debug windows. If we want to debug, we just open these. Debug is function. So I would like to open the for debug. If you can see the message come in to the evaluate and go out from the evaluate, come into the converse and go out, and we can see the four messages, how the message looks like. Right? So let me ask again, say, tell me a joke. Okay, sure, what kind of joke you want to hear? That joke. Okay, it turns the dad joke. Then we change a Chuck joke. All right. So now if we go back to the flow, we can see a lot of, it's going to be, we get the 3 conversations, it's going to be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's going to be 12. So let's do it again so that we can retrieve. Tell me a joke. Okay. Now we get 4. The first one is the message just coming. And the second one is message go out, leave. Message coming from the converse. And a message returned from the converse. So this is consistent to the architecture diagram of this one, because it's using the evaluate to evaluate the confidence and the intent is going to be used with every individual skills. And when we get the highest number of the confidence number, and we focus one skill, and then using the converse to get the data. So this is the same thing, evaluate and converse. And you can debug whatever message whenever, to get these. Okay, in the next session, we will see how to make this as a boilerplate and to make the modifications so that it can apply to the skills you would like to build up.